Okay, so this is outside the norm for a lot of the videos I make. I always say if it comes to something, comic book, video games, nerd, pop culture related, I would rather do videos about things I enjoy than to talk negatively about things. But I do enjoy this show I'm about to talk about. And there was some issues on the internet with fans and I will get into it, but I will say I want to start off also. February of last year, I made a video going over the Arrowverse and why the crossovers and everything else need to stop because it was gonna bring the downfall of the CW Arrowverse, and I was right to an extent. I knew this would happen. Obviously, what I'm talking about is the fact that it was revealed yesterday via comicbook.com did like an interview and an article that the Superman and Lois film is not technically tied to the Arrowverse. It is separate, it is isolated. It does not take place on Earth Prime, which is where the Flash takes place, and where most of the staple shows were. We had DC Tomorrow and whatnot. Um, Now, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say I understand a lot of the backlash because we got Diggle on Superman and Lois, and he acknowledged Oliver and some other things that happened, but it was confirmed this is not the same Diggle. Uh, and that on this universe where this Superman and Lois takes place, it is he's the only superhero. There are no Batman, no Arrow, no Flash, Batgirl, and so on and so forth. It's just this iteration of Superman, and it it is like I said, it is going to be a bit confusing because this is the Superman that debuted in Supergirl, what season 2? But the only thing that is the same between that Superman and this Superman is actor Tyler Hoechlin is the actor. He plays both. Other than that, nothing else. Nothing else. Like this is isolated, and I was okay about this. I'm still okay about this because look at the CW, look at the Arrowverse, look at how it's been. It has been just a steady decline. But um, I don't always check comicbook.com. Just this is the article that everyone was quote retweeting and had all the issues with, and they were explaining the actual links to the Arrowverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the article really quick and go over some of the key quotes and then break down what that means. So the main article is Superman and Lois link to the Arrowverse explained. This is from written by Russ Burlingame. Sorry if I butchered that name. I'm bad with names. So let's see. They everyone questions the characters from the other Arrowverse shows because nothing has actually popped up. Obviously, if anyone knows, Superman, Supergirl, they're cousins. That's and Superman and Lois want to know if it takes place on, and it's not on Earth Prime. Um, in the world of Superman and Lois, Superman is the only superhero, meaning that most of the characters of the Arrowverse are not part of the series world, and the Man of Steel at the center of the show does not share memories with the Superman who first appeared in Supergirl. Actually, the Supergirl, in fact, is a touchstone that series showrunner Todd Helbing used. When we asked him whether it was similar to the first couple of seasons of that series, the producer virtually finished our sentence. And my this is the quote that I'm really like sticking to. Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. When Supergirl was on CBS, they were on their own world, right? All being explained. If you think about it, John Henry started on a separate planet. They had their own version of Kal-El. It's very much that. So the Arrowverse is on Earth Prime. We're on a different Earth. I'm not sure what number that is yet. So Diggle's history. He's John Diggle, but his history is not exactly the John Diggle's history that was in Arrow. That holds true for every character. I was like, okay. I was excited though that David Ramsey did return as John Diggle. I thought he was a really good character on Arrow, um, and he is making a appearance in the season finale of Supergirl this year, but that version will apparently be an alternate universe version of Diggle fans know love. The revelation came about midway through tonight's season 2 finale when Sam Lane told Jonathan and Jordan Kent, "I've been working for the DoD for a long time. I've seen things you would not believe, glimpses of other worlds and the leagues of superheroes they have on them. And even though we only have your father on this planet, thank God that we do, because he's the finest of any Earth." And then even said, with the end of Batwoman and DC's Legends of Tomorrow, this season, The Flash now stands as the only CW series set on Earth Prime, while Superman Lois and Stargirl exist within the Arrowverse multiverse. And in fact, are currently taking part in a comic book crossover with the other shows. The world that launched the Arrow with Arrow in 2012 is pretty underrepresented on the network right now. This also might explain the decision to feature everyone except Superman and Lois in the Armageddon crossover on The Flash earlier this year. And Superman and Lois season 2 is now ended, and season 3 is coming back next year. I'm glad it's getting a third season. So here's the deal. I'm okay with this. Okay. Uh, and like I said, my favorite quote of this is season 1 of Supergirl was it so isolated. It was CBS. It wasn't CW. CW picked it up and they're like, oh, let's cross everything over. I think I was a fan of Supergirl. It was a good show. I enjoyed season 1 because it wasn't the Arrowverse. And I just hate so much stuff was tied in. But do I think this whole Superman and Lois thing not being a part of the Arrowverse, was that the plan since the beginning of season 1? Definitely not. Okay. I think the declining viewership and cancellation of shows like Batgirl, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, I still think Black Lightning was good and deserved to continue. I think just canceling those shows, their viewership declining so much, definitely made them be like, okay, we need a contingency plan. We need to figure something out because these CW shows are getting canceled. What are we gonna do? Like we can't be a part of the Arrowverse because it's dying, and it is. And because it's not really the Arrowverse, anyways, it's the Flashverse. Arrow's done, and you know, I think as of right now, from a CW standpoint, is after all these other shows end their current seasons and are no longer renewed, I think the Flash is the only season that's left. From a CW standpoint, because we do still have Doom Patrol, Titans, Stargirl, and Superman and Lois, who are just on their own. And what I think is going to happen is I don't think in the next 2 years CW will have any DC properties. I think most of the stuff is going to shift over to HBO Max. I don't think the DC, whatever the DC app was, is a thing anymore. I think everything's just now on HBO Max. So I think we're not gonna. So I don't think we're getting anything on the CW. I think Superman and Lois is gonna go over there, along with where Titans and Doom Patrol and Stargirl are. I think that's where those are gonna be. But the thing is, I don't see this as a bad thing. In reality, the shift is a step in the right direction because multiverses. I'm exhausted of time travel. I'm exhausted with multiverses. These are these have become a crutch of just bad writing and plot holes and excuses to change things and be like, oh, viewership's down on, like, hypothetically say like Arrow. Arrow was peak. It was popular. It's like, oh, Flash, it's getting good viewership, but we saw a dip. Okay, we're gonna do a crossover next season that'll bolster up. We'll get some of those viewers from Arrow to go over to Flash because that was exhausting for me when the whole crisis of Infinite Earths was happening. Because it's like I don't want to watch Batgirl. I don't want to watch Legends of Tomorrow. This and that. I just want to watch Arrow and be able to understand. That's the same thing that's going on with Disney and Marvel right now. If with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse Madness, if you didn't watch WandaVision and you're going to watch that, be like, what's up with Wanda? Why is she acting like that? I don't like having to watch all these different shows to get the full story when I just want to watch the characters I like. I shouldn't be forced to watch stuff I don't want to. So yeah, I think multiverse stuff and time travel, that is just a crutch. to fix plot holes and bad writing, and just to, use it as an excuse if anything happens to just make changes to characters and story. Um, but yeah, that's really it. I'm glad now we have this defined answer. Like I said, I do understand why some people are mad because let's face it, this was not the plan in season one. And having Diggle come in, I don't think I like I said, I think once Supergirl got canceled, everything else, I think they had to be like, okay, how can we get this to stand on its own so other shows failing and crossovers won't be affected. But that's really it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Have you watched Superman and Lois? I know I started reviewing it when season one dropped, but I prefer binge watching shows. I can't watch a lot of shows week to week because I already watched so many. So I was like, you know what? I would wait until seasons would drop. Uh, season two, Superman and Lois. I did start it. It's really good. I'm about halfway through it, so I can't wait now that the finale's been aired. I'm gonna binge watch the rest of season two. Also, hypothetically, if CW does plan to make another DC show, I would love a sequel to Smallville. I like when Tom Welling showed up in the Crisis. Like I was like, oh. I mean, but I would like to see like a majority of the cast return, except for anyone that's not facing jail time for being part of a weird cult. But with that being said, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to talk more about comics and nerdy stuff and this and that because, like I said, I made this video originally a version of this talking about the Arrowverse and crossovers back in February of last year. But that's when I first started on YouTube. The whole 6 people watched it, which was yeah, and uh, but yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about this news and the fact that was Superman and Lois. And that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.